Hello there, and welcome to the, whoop, I don't want to do that. This is the Rocket Ridge Rusty Show, episode 2. And in this episode, we're going to be learning about using air compressors and all these different tools on this table here. We're gonna do a little bit of work with each tool that you see on this table. So let's take a look at it real quick. Give you a better idea what we're going over here. This is a piece of wood. All right, so this here, this is an air hose. All right, we're gonna get to that in 1 second. This is a really old tape measure. I think it was bought at Sears, but I'm not sure. This is a square, right? Remember we talked about this in our last episode. The square makes a 90-degree angle, right? So that's how you're, see that's a stick of wood there? Yeah, it makes a 90. All right, so we got a rag. We got a tube of liquid nails. So this is a glue that we can use. All right, we'll worry about all this other stuff later. Let's get into the video. I know you want to know about every single tool here, but we got to get this thing started. All right, so let's start with the air hose, okay? This is your common air hose. I like this material. They do have it in different type of materials. Right now I like this one. It changes though, you know. So you got this, and this goes into your tools, right? To your compressor. We'll go over here. Let's go look at the compressor. All right, here. This is a compressor, all right? So what this does is it creates air into the tank, okay? So when the air goes through the tank, then it's going to push the air through the hose, all right? So let's just all right, this is what we're going to do here. We're going to plug this in. Remember what I showed you in episode 1? You want to tie a knot in the cord, right? So you're going to tie a knot in the cord. You're going to tighten it. Okay? Back to the video. Okay, so now we got it plugged in, right? Our knot is tied in the cord. Ain't going nowhere, right? So that's great. What I'm going to do is, so this is something that, you know, it doesn't really matter. You know, you do whatever you want. You do what's comfortable for you, okay? But look, I'm going to show you something here. If I plug this in, while it's turned off, it's going to be a little bit easier, right? Because the air is going to be pushing through once this is turned on. You understand? So right now, there's no air in the compressor. You just want to make sure you lock that pin. Lock a pin in there. Lock it in real good. Thing's not working right now. Maybe I need a new one. We'll get it. There it is, see? Check that it's snug, right? It's good. We don't need to hit it with a hammer or anything, but we just check with our hand, right? It's good. So now, we're going to turn this thing on and we're going to fire up some air in this compressor. You ready for it? Let's do this thing. We're going to let that fill up with air, all right? Then I'm going to show you how to use some different tools here, okay? You want to unroll the cord, okay? You want to loop it and loop it. Any tangles in it, okay? So we're going to unloop it and loop it. So the compressor is filled with air, right? We got a full tank of air. Cord's plugged in properly. Okay, we unlooped our cord. Now that's important because if you don't straighten out the air cord here, all right, it's going to be difficult to be moving around with the cord, right? If it's tangled, it'll hook on something, a tree branch, a cinder block, you know, it could be anything, a dumpster. Anyways, I got full flexibility and full motion with the cord. There's no tangles, right? Maneuverability is there, okay? Because if you don't have the maneuverability, what's going to happen? You're going to loop it around your foot. You're going to get caught up in it, right? It's going to get stuck on you. You're not going to know what's going on, where you are, or what you're doing. All right? So, where we're going here now, in this video, where you're going to learn so much information that is either completely useful or completely irrelevant, doesn't really matter, you know? It's just something you can watch, all right? So here's a framing gun, okay? Not going to get into too much about this or how it works, but you know, get a little bit better here. So look, you got your pin here. This opens and closes, right? And this is where your coil goes. So these are coil framing nails, okay? These are galvanized nails. Now, if you're going to learn anything in this video, why don't you just try to learn what the galvanized nails do, okay? So the galvanized nails is when you're working outside, right? And you're going to be using nails outside, you know, and you don't want them to rust, right? Like Rocket Ridge Rusty did. So, you know, you use galvanized nails. So, you know, a lot of people don't know what that means, you know. Oh, why is that box of nails cost more than that one? Let me just get the cheaper ones, right, and save a few dollars. You know, that's pretty stupid, actually. You know, you get the galvanized nails, okay? You're paying that little bit extra money, and you're getting nails that don't rust. You know, a lot of people, I've been doing this for 20 years. There are a lot of cheapos out there. They think, oh, yeah, I got the better price. I'm going to give them a better price. I'm going to get the job. I'm going to do this big job. I got the cheap materials on everything. You know, that shit. All right, so yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't fly, right? You know, we live a long time nowadays. This is 2024 here. So basically what I'm saying is you get the better nails, okay? You get the galvanized nails. Even if you're outside making a YouTube video, you know, to go do what you got to do. Anyways, I'm not going to show you how to put these in and out right now, okay? What I just want to teach you about is nailing here. So we're going to close this up, okay? Secured, right? Good. Here's your air hose, okay? So when you do this, you got to be careful, all right? Because it can pop back at you, right? Let's see if I can get it to do it. There you go. See? See? So you could do this when there's no air in the compressor. If it's your first time, you want to take things slow, you want to do it easy. Otherwise, you know, if you know what you're doing, you could just click it in and make sure that it's connected, okay? So now we got a framing gun hooked up with air, okay? You be careful with this thing. It's a framing gun, right? Shooting 3-inch nails. You got to be real careful with that. Understand? Real careful. See? Big nails. Okay? Now, what I want to do here is I want to teach you about stagger nailing. Okay? Let's get these leaves off here. Alright? What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this piece of wood in half, okay? We got our pencil, we got our tape. Check this out, this is pretty cool. Watch this, right? Measures 50 and 7/8, right? But we're going to just say 51, okay? Watch this. What's half of 51, right? Oh, I guess it's 25 and a half, right? See that trick? I learned that back in high school. Watch, 25 and a half, 25 and a half, right? Find your center. Okay. We got our square we learned about in episode 1, right? Square that off real good. Okay. Take things a little bit easier. I'm going to use the cordless power saw. Set our blade. All right, there we go. Check that out. Pretty close. Now we got 2 blocks of wood. We got 1 block of wood here, and we got another block of wood here. How many is that? That's 2 blocks of wood, okay? We're just gonna line them up here, all right? Now we're gonna take the nail gun. I'm gonna teach you stagger nailing, okay? Now what stagger nailing is that you stagger the nails, right? The spacing. Basically what that's going to do is make these 2 pieces of wood attached together, not only strong, but in a way that it's not going to split the wood, okay? I'll show it to you both ways, okay? You gotta watch this, okay? Because this is gonna be really cool. Probably the coolest thing you've ever seen in your whole life, all right? How cool was that? Now imagine if you hear the birds, they all stop chirping as soon as I fired that nail, right? Listen, hear the birds? All chirping. There's like 1,000 of them up there. Watch this. Nope, they're still chirping. Maybe it was just the first nail. Anyways, so look what I did here. I don't know if you could see this. The first nail is here, right? So instead of putting another nail here or here, I staggered it, right? So that's your stagger, okay? You could put a nail here if you want. But what you're missing, the point is, if you put too many, it's really not all that great doing much. It's stagger the nails, all right? So stagger nailing is a very important thing to understand. It's going to make it harder to take these 2 pieces of wood apart, right? So if I use the hammer and a flat bar and the nails are staggered, what was that? Yeah, so let's keep staggering the nails so you can see this. Ideas you just come up with, right? Look at that nail. That nail shot out the side. Check this out. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to teach you how to toenail. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this in half. Okay. You're going to have to run the saw through. So I'm using the smaller saw. This will be good, right? Square all the lines across, right? We're going to cut this. We're going to cut this up. Total control. You got to have total control of the saw, right? If the saw controls you, it's going to bind up. It's going to ricochet the wood. It's going to be a bad day. You got to understand, wood has to be cut in that open direction, okay? So sometimes it's literally just taking your hand and just applying a little bit of pressure to it in that open direction so it doesn't bind up. If you have your hand and you're holding it like this, you're leaning your arm in, and you're cutting this way, you're binding the blade. You're putting pressure on the blade, and then that's when it goes, right? I don't really want to do it right now. So let's just do it the right way, okay? Like I said, just apply a little pressure in the elbow, right? I mean, these are things it takes a long time to learn. Even you could be doing it, doing it 20 years and still binds up on you. But what are you going to do, You see that little bit of pressure because it's just taking it off of the blade, okay? Isn't that something? That's really something, isn't it? You don't get a cut like that every day. Or do you? I don't really know. It's a really beautiful day out though, isn't it? Really something out here. And I really don't know who's going to watch the video learning all this stuff. They're going to be smart. Be a smart person there, huh? I'm just going to cut this. Let's just go ahead. What are we trying to make here, huh? I'll show you like a 16-inch. Right. I think that's good. Alright. Get this cut down. Same thing. You want to apply pressure, okay? Almost any time you're cutting, it just has to grab you, you know, like this technique, okay? You make 1,000 cuts a day for like a couple years. You're not even going to notice that you're doing this, okay? It just becomes part of using a power saw. But if your first time's doing this, you're not going to know this. You're going to learn from error, right? You're going to bind up. You might get cut. You might get injured. You might have to go home for the day. We don't really know. But believe me, if I didn't put pressure on that piece of wood right there, cutting it, it would bind up in the saw. All right? Watch. I'm going to not do the technique that I'm trying to show you and let you see it bind, okay? I don't know if it's going to bind. It's a small piece of wood, but let's just see. You see that? You see how it's binding? Right? Because I'm like putting my pressure against the cut. Okay? Let me get there over there for you. Now look at this. Check this out. Ready? See? So when you're cutting, you want it to be like that. Right? So the blade's just going to finish it off. If you're doing this, the blade's going to bind up at the end of the cut. Okay? It is rocket science. This is really rocket science stuff. Okay? You're not going to learn this in college. Okay? You're going to learn this in the woods, working on houses, whatever you're doing. Okay? All right. So what I want to show you is we're going to do some toenailing. Okay. We're going to do some toenailing. Okay. Alright, so we got our 2 pieces of wood that we made, right? We got them sitting on a block of wood we cut. Alright. So I am going to just put a nail in it, okay? So it's not going to move. You know, I forgot to tell you this, but the most important thing when using the framing gun is you got to wear safety glasses, okay? The nail can ricochet out of that gun. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen a couple times. I've seen it happen a lot of times, actually. Sometimes it happens all the time. Anyways, wear safety glasses, and you always keep it away from your hand. You see your hands and your fingers, right? As much as you want to hold it, right, to secure the piece of wood, you don't want your hands near where that nail is going to go, because if the nail hits a knot in the wood or it hits a rough spot in the wood and it goes rocket ridge rusty on you, you know, it could shoot out, it could hit your hand, I don't know. A lot of things can happen. So you got to get the hang of the gun. You know, it's a very heavy gun, okay? It's not light, okay? Maybe it's not for you. Maybe you don't need it. Maybe you shouldn't be using it. But if you want to learn how to use it properly, you can watch more videos on Rocket Ridge Rusty channel. Okay? Okay. So now, let's see how I can show you this. We're not building like a real wall here. This is just like a piece of wood, the backyard here. Okay. Okay, this might be a good angle right here. Now it's kind of hard for me to show you this. So this is what we're going to be doing. This is it's called a toenail. Okay, so when you're building walls and such, you put the nail in on an angle. Okay, it's going to go angle. These nails are long enough, they're big enough, they're strong enough. And again, we got the galvanized nails, right? So they're not going to rust. I mean, I guess technically they could still rust a little bit over time. You know, it happens. But yeah, these are the better ones. You know, we didn't shave a few dollars off to get the job, you know. A lot of people do that. Almost everyone. Anyways, which is why it's so hard to get a job nowadays, right? You learn everything, you do it all the right way, and boom. Now your price is more than everyone else, all right? So, there you go. There's a toenail. Look how perfect that nail is, okay? Let me show you. Let's nail the other side. Okay. Okay. Now check this out. You see no signs of the nail, right? So that nail goes in here on the angle. And let me draw with a pencil for you. It goes perfectly like that. Okay. Now let me show you this. Okay. Because I'm going to nail the other side and show you what that's doing. Okay. So now you have a nail coming in this way, right? And a nail coming in this way. So look at that angle, right? That is like an anchor, okay? Now if you see an anchor, it's grabbing this piece of wood. It ain't going nowhere, you know? It's solid. Now watch this. I'll show it so you can see it. And when you get good at it, then you can do it pretty fast, you know? Now we nailed 4 nails right there. Now watch this. Again, this is a heavy gun, but you get used to it. Start wrapping this episode up. All right, it's just getting to that point. You know, I think you learned something, right? So what you got to do is you got to walk away with this video and say, hey, what did I just watch? What is it that I just learned? Okay, what you learned is, okay, we'll just narrow this down. We're gonna make this real simple for you. You wear safety glasses when you use the nail gun. Okay, that's number 1. Okay. Number 2, you do what's comfortable for you. Plugging in the air hose when the compressor's turned off and there's no air in it, things like that. You unroll the cord so that there's no tangles. You work on a flat surface. You work at your own pace. Okay, that was a big number 2, okay? But on this list here. All right, now number 3, what you needed to learn is toenailing, I guess. I don't know. Whatever you want to learn, I guess. You know, you figure it out. Let's see. You watch the video, you figure it out. You know what I mean? Toenailing. All right. Again, let's just draw this one more time. All right. I don't know. I'm not looking for the pencil. You know what you're doing. You watch the video, right? So the toenail is the nails on the angle. Okay. You got your toenails around. Again, that creates like an anchor. Okay, you position the nail gun on the angle right? It's going to take a while. You're not going to get this the first time you do it. You're not going to get it the second time. You might not get it for a couple weeks. You might not even get it for a couple years. I know guys that have been doing this their whole lives and they still don't get it, okay? But the goal is, you know, you see other people working at a faster pace because they know what they're doing. Work at your own pace. Then when you get it, then you can work and progress that pace, okay? I'll just do a couple more toenails on the side so you can see. Okay. 2 more toenails going in on the angle. Okay. A lot of people either call toenails because you almost kind of want to use your toe when you're doing a wall. You almost kind of want to use your toe to hold one side, right? The nail's not going to go through. The nail's not long enough to go on the other side. So yeah, we got this here. We made this today. You could use it for I don't know. You can make a window. You could put a picture inside, I guess. Whatever you want. All right. This is going to go in the Rage Rusty pile. Okay. And this has been an awesome episode 2. I hope you learned something from it. And I look forward to you seeing more videos of using all these different tools. All right. You have a great day.